needs the presence of the Lord? Okay. Yeah, we're feeding back. The name of this portion is called BO. Josh, did you turn it on?
Yeah,
okay.
It's been on.
Okay. BO means to come. And last week we talked about the first 7 plagues came upon Egypt because they would not let God's people go. I really think that in a way this is kind of like what's happening here today. You know what? It's like because we're not going to give in to the enemy, okay, we're not going to let go of God, okay? You know, that's that persistence, okay? That, you know, that it says, let my people go, okay, when they came out of Egypt, okay? He was going to Pharaoh. See, the first 5 times, the first 5 plagues, he basically hardened his own heart, okay, Pharaoh, okay, to let the people go. But in the last 5 plagues, God hardened his heart. Why? Why does God harden a person's heart? Okay, well, so that he gets the glory. When you're prideful and arrogant, he has to humble us. And that's how he humbled Pharaoh. That when things were like at their worst, he still kept hardening his heart. Even God was doing all these plagues, and he was still hardening his heart. And even the people, the sorcerers and all the Pharaoh's helpers were telling him, don't you know we're destroyed? Why can't you wake up? Let the people go and serve their God. So let's look at that real quick. It's interesting because the word for harden is kavod. It's the same word for glory. Okay. I know this is weird. This is Hebrew, okay? Some words are used for different things. But you could say, when God hardens your heart, it's like, in this case, Pharaoh, the hardening that's upon him was God allowing him. God hardened his heart. So the glory of God was upon Pharaoh to destroy him and destroy Egypt. God's glory will come for an opportunity to be in such a presence and such a power. But also, his glory will come to humble the arrogant and to destroy the wicked. I would rather be on the side of who are worshiping and being in his presence. And the cloud appears, and it says the priests could not stand when that glory came. Okay, in the tabernacle and in the temple. There is a glory. The word kavod is weight. It's literally weight. Have you been in a glory and you felt like much heavier than you actually were? That's what it's like. The weight of his glory. Okay? So, God had to do what he had to do with Pharaoh to bring about what he had to let his people go. His people had to leave, be free. Okay? Do you know, all of us, when we believe in Yeshua, okay? See, it's his desire for us to be free, not to be bound up in chains. In the glory, we are set free. His glory is appearing, his glory is coming over us to set us free from sin, from bondage. Egypt is a type and shadow of the bondage of sin. So, these last 3 plagues were very hard. Okay, and Let's look at them real quick. It was the locusts. Now, last week we talked about the hail that came down with fire. And it said that that when this hail came down, I mean, it destroyed everything, all the vegetation, and even if there were any animals or people out there, it probably killed them. Because it was fire with the hail, and it was thunder. Now, it says thunder, but in the Hebrew, the word is kolot, which is voices. I happen to think it was a lot of demon voices, really loud. And Pharaoh was more frightened by the voices of demons than he was by the hail itself. Okay, there was a lot of unusual things, but I don't want to talk about that. The next thing was the locusts. Now, the locusts came down. And as I told you last week, that all the plagues weren't just against Pharaoh and the people of Egypt. They were actually against the gods of Egypt. If we worship false gods, then if God is judging those gods, we're going to be judged with it, because whatever you worship, you become a part of. Okay, so you join yourself to it. Okay, so that's what was happening to Egypt. So let me see here. There's a reason that God told Israel, or that God did this, another reason besides what I just told you. It was so that the people would remember to tell their children how God made a mockery of Egypt. Now, let's look at that scripture. I believe it's right there in your notes, okay? Verse 1 and 2 of chapter 10. Jehovah said to Moshe, "Come to Paro, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, in order that I can place my signs, those in his midst. And in order that you may relate in the ears of your son and the son of your son, your grandson, that which I made a mockery of Egypt, and my signs that I placed among them, that you may know that I am Yehovah." God is not mocked. And Egypt was mocking God in so many ways. You got to understand, for 200 years, Egypt became the richest nation under Joseph. Because of an Israelite, of Joseph, and he became the leaders of the Ephraimites and the Manasseh, okay, the Manasseh, the tribe of Manasseh, and Ephraim came from Joseph, became a part of the tribes of Israel. Okay, Israel was a blessing to Egypt. And then a new king came along thinking, you know what, they're going to be subject to me. Pharaoh, that turned against Israel, was a type and shadow of the Antichrist, the false Messiah. And he wanted to get all the glory, he wanted to get all the power, he wanted to lord it over everyone. And ultimately, this is what the false Messiah is going to do in the future. He's going to first come against Israel. He's going to first come against Israel, and he's going to come against the people of God. He will kill the believers. Okay, this is the type of shadow. This is what we're dealing with. But God is not mocked. Because he said, I'm doing this. I'm hardening his heart because I want you to tell yourselves how I mocked them. I'm the one that's going to get the laugh here. Okay, so the word for mockery, is to act severely. It means deal with severely. It means make a fool of someone. Okay, but see, not only was he mocking them, before this, only Israel knew of this God. And maybe Sodom and Gomorrah, when there was fire and brimstone coming down the road. They just thought, well, maybe this is a natural disaster. And all Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim got wiped out. We know about that one, right? We know about what happened with the flood, right? But no one really knew the God, Yehovah. Abraham and his family, and Seth from Adam, third from Adam, Noah, his children, and later it would be Abraham on. They knew, to them, he was El Shaddai. He was always there to take care of their needs. But now he's revealing to the world, he is Yehovah. He is the one God who always was, who is, and always will be. He's revealing himself now to the world. So the world will know how real he is. And they will be without excuse. And he has to destroy Egypt to show, because everybody's going to hear about how Egypt got destroyed, because they were the capital nation of the world. I'm trying to relate this in a way you understand this. I am not saying the United States is Egypt, but it's like the United States back then. They were the nation that everybody saw was prosperous and blessed. And they got wiped out by the God of heaven. And it was revealed to the whole world who he is, that he's real. And he is with a nation of peoples. Okay, Israel. And he's with us. Okay, now think about this. That same God is with us. Okay, Yehovah, he is with us. Through the blood of Yeshua, his son. He has now come into us. And he is with us in the same way. And guess what? The enemy should be frightened by us. They should be afraid of us. But because, 2,000 years ago, maybe just less than 2,000 years ago, people got in the way. Men quenched the spirit for religious reasons, for religion, for compromise. And the church became powerless as it is today. But it wasn't that way in the first century. It became that way. And it's because men started to get in control, led by demonic forces, and we have to get back to that. Where the power of God is with us, where people are afraid of us. Not people are afraid of us, but the God that is with us. This is the message that God is trying to get across. I am with a people, a nation. I am with a people that love me, that want me. Okay? And I want to mock the world through them. That's what he wants to do. He wants to show us off. Problem is, we're too much in the flesh, or we seem to be satisfied with a little bit of religion here, a little bit of religion there. Even the letter of the law, I love the Torah, but the letters are meaningless without the Spirit. Even the Jews are just looking for religion. Christians are looking, they want the Spirit, but they don't want the truth. Okay, I'm not saying all Christians, by the way, just to clear that up. I'm saying that you got to have both. It's like, peanut butter and jelly. You know what? If you have peanut butter and jelly sandwich with just peanut butter, your mouth is going to be, okay? And if you just have jelly, it's going to be like, there isn't much to that. You got to have both together. You got to have the Word, and you got to have the Spirit, and they complement each other. But there's not enough people that love the Word, that wants, and not just reading it, but observing it, doing it, following God's calendar. We were talking, me and Dean, a couple of weeks ago about this. We got to know what time we're in. It says in the scriptures that the stork knows its times and seasons, but we don't know. Why? It's because we're not on that calendar. We're not in that Word. This is a season of pruning. And boy, are we going through some pruning. There's nothing the same with us as it was 2 weeks ago even. Even last week. Praise the Lord. Change. So many people have written songs about change. I could probably, if I think about it, list of a bunch of artists, okay, musicians, changes. This is change time. And it has nothing to do with January, although it just happens to be work out this time. Because the change happens on the Jewish calendar in the fall, about the time of Rosh Hashanah. And boy, we had a lot of change back then too. Okay, but this is a season of pruning. We have a neighbor right next to us, a couple houses, our house over, and they have this ugly looking tree, and you can see it when it's naked without any leaves, okay? And they're so happy to have it, and then the leaves fall off, and they don't do anything about it, and it gets all over the place in our yard and all that, right? But with it bare, it is in great need of pruning. Okay, there's unproductive branches coming off in every which way. It looks ugly. This is a season of getting rid of the unproductive branches in our lives. And we all have them. And I have them. And we all have them. And that means it's a whole new level of faith, because we tend to hold on to things that we shouldn't hold on to. I mean, look, we have a lot of stuff at our house, too, that we should get rid of. Okay, I mean, we all do. But that's just a physical thing. Inside of us, things have to change. And if we want the full measure of the stuff that, what goes into the tree? Our blood is pumped into us from our heart. Okay, and it goes to every part of us. Okay,